That's quite satisfying. That's also quite very satisfying. Nice little grooves. Okay, so this is the beginnings to the next building. As you can see, it's going to be quite sturdy. Hey Georgia, how's Georgia tonight? So I've been playing with the laser again. We've got some nice little decorative window surrounds that are going on this building. I kind of made a little kit. I've got several pieces to put together. And very well. Made the most of it being a lovely sunny evening tonight, and went to the pub when I got home from work. So I had a nice trip to the pub. I think that's the doorway. That's the doorway, that one. Sorry. Here the laser is currently whirring away, cutting some other pieces out for me. So this is excuse me. This is going to be built up in layers. And I've just got several pieces. So I'm just working on the facade at the moment. This is the main sort of entranceway. The building is quite big, but it's got a very decorative sort of 16th century ornate frontage. It was boiling, was it? Oh, no, working mostly black isn't ideal, is it? And just bear with me a minute, the laser's just finished, I need to swap over. I think it's cut out a bit too harsh. Oops, that was me dropping my laptop on the floor, thus pulling the plug out. Now hopefully I haven't broken it, at least the cable. I've just dragged my foot right through the laptop cable in my haste to get to the laser. Bear with me a minute, I just need the empty tray. See if I can rescue this. Plug it back in. Just help it straight right across there. Just bear with me a little bit longer. I just need to import something. And I'll be right back with you again. Unfortunately I've got to do it off screen because I can't film one. I can't show you what I'm doing because it's away from camera. Timmy, stop licking. panic over. Thought I'd broken it then with dragging it off the table, but it's working again now. Right, I'm back. Hi Laura, I'm sorry, there's just cables everywhere and I've just run through them. Because I'm clumsy. Right, let's have a look at what we've got here. Now, I have built these in multiple layers. I have several to build. I'm having a mare. I've tripped over my laptop cable and it pulled it off the table, both knocked the laptop on the floor and also ripped the cable out of the laser. So that wasn't a great start, was it? So we'll try not to move anymore. Yes, it was an oops. Okay, let's see if I can get these out. Now, I've got several of these to make, and depending on how well one goes, depends on whether I carry on and do all of them or use the first one as a cast, a mould, to make a bigger piece, if you see what I mean. And what I potentially need to do is look at my drawing just to remind me of how the whole thing actually goes together. Timmy, stop it! Okay, let me see if I can just get the laptop open for you. Right, this is the window I'm making, and that's the image of the real thing. So as you can see, it's built up of multiple layers. Let's see if I can show you the other drawing. Oh, that's what he's licking. I put my toaster plate on. Okay, so this is very early stages of the build, but this is what the front of the building looks like, with these rather ornate windows. So what I need to do is work on building the frames up like this. So I've separated those drawings out. I've pulled it off my master drawing and separated it out into different pieces. You can't quite see there, can you? But believe me, it's there. I know what I'm doing. Yes, I'll use that as my reference. There's another little building I've started working on, much bigger scale. That's just a prototype building. going to have to be careful how I glue this together. I don't want it smudging so much. I should have engraved a little marker for where this bit goes. Yeah, I'm going to use wood glue for this. They are beautiful windows, yes, and an absolute perfect example for doing something that I can't think of the word for. An absolutely perfect example for the laser cutter. It's been a bit powerful this time around and cut off a lot of pieces straight through. I think I put my settings on a bit too high, so there's lots of bits missing. It's fallen straight through. I should be able to find them. To be fair, it's the sort of thing I'd like to do off screen when I've got a bit more time and not people watching me, but we'll see how we go. So my initial thought was to perhaps make a master and then make moulds. I'm going to need some glue. Yeah, to make some moulds so I could cast all the rest of them. Glue, 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 glue. Where are we glue? I'm going to use the expensive stuff. So again, it's going to be quite an epic one, this one, I think. This is a side job I have. It is actually a business, but I have a day job on top of this. So yeah, but it's paid work. I do this as it started off being a hobby, but now it's, like I say, it's a little business that I run. Yes, this is going to be the little French chateau. It's called a chateau, but it's kind of it's in the middle of a town, so it's not, you know, like your French castle on a hillside. But it is very, it is a very distinctive, very old French sort of ornate house. Can't think of any other explanation for it. Yeah, me too. Me too. It's going to be a gift. The owner's not aware that it's being built, but I have asked for permission to share on social media. It's highly unlikely that the intended recipient will actually see this, so I have asked for and received permission to live stream this and share it on socials as I go, so that's lucky for you guys. Otherwise I'd have been building this in quiet. Not quite the same. So this is going to be 1/50th scale. It's a bit bigger again than I normally build. I'm just trying to work out what bit goes where. Because like I say, unfortunately, it's ripped itself off its backing. So I just need to do a little bit of working out. We have multiple layers. that this is comprised of. Just so happens that each of the ones that I want to get to, it's fallen out. I might have it upside down though. That might help if I flip it over. Yeah, that's the right way around. It still doesn't help me much because, like I say, the pieces are missing. Can you see how they've some of them have come straight out? It doesn't have double stairs at the front, no, unfortunately. It's a ground level straight out onto the courtyard, but it does have circular turrets in each corner at the front, so that's an interesting aspect to it. This would have made an absolutely superb model if it was a much bigger scale, but we can only work with what we've got. A bit of gluing. Just do a bit of gluing. That one and that one are the same size, aren't they? It should be slightly bigger, but it hasn't trimmed properly. No matter. And we'll get much further if I actually attempt to glue something. Last night I had a night off. I mean, I was building that little 1/35 scale Nissen hut whilst watching a film, but to all intents and purposes I took the night off. I was just having a bit of time to myself. Yeah, using the clear white glue is a much better way of gluing this, because you're not going to get issues with it sticking in the wrong place as much. You are allowed a little bit of manoeuvrability time before the glue sets. So I've made this, I've drawn this up so that it's in multiple layers, so I have to align each layer with the next to get my decorative stonework right. So basically when I've designed the drawing, I've just made each subsequent shape just a little bit smaller, so we go like up in steps. I might have to just do a bit of shaving off of the glue once it's set, because no matter how careful I am, I'm going to get a little bit of smudging. Ideally this would be nice to cast in plaster to get a better stone finish. But it's all going to be painted. It's quite a neat dressed stone, so it doesn't have to be too textured. I say with a bit of paint, you're not really going to be able to tell that it's not stone. That's where part of the skill with model making comes in, is creating the illusion. Can you see how that's starting to step? I need to get myself a little pot to put all these small bits in. One of the great things about, one of the many great things about this laser cutter is it's got a nice handy drop tray underneath. So if any pieces do sort of cut through, it'll just collect them. Timmy! That's actually moved a little bit. Let's push it back in place. So each little bit just gets gradually smaller until we get to the top, which we've done here. Seems weird working on something different. That wouldn't pick up, would it? Just couldn't get my fingers underneath it. But all this time working on the thatched farmhouse, it seems strange to be on a new project. There is, technically speaking, another one in front of this, but I'm still waiting on some clearer pictures. If I do get them, I'll probably end up working on both of them at the same time. Do I have to draw each bit on the computer for it to cut out? Yes, I do. I don't know if you just missed when I showed the drawing that I'm working off here. Give me a shout if you want me to show it again. Switch it to my left hand side. Yes, you missed it. Okay. So, just drag my laptop back on screen again. So I haven't finished drawing the whole thing up yet because there's a lot to it, but I wanted to get cracking on it because otherwise I'll be just spending hours and hours and hours drawing and getting no further. So this is the front profile so far, and these are the window surrounds. So the ones on the upstairs have a slight sort of pedestal underneath them, and the downstairs ones just have a thicker front bottom thing, and then there's a central doorway there. I've actually just not included the latest one, but that just cuts straight through that. So from there I've picked up this window area and then I've drawn it out a bit clearer. The red there represents the outer shape, and then from there I've then created a separate drawing which has got all the separate elements to it. So we've got this sheet which I've cut from 1mm grey board. So that's the outer area, which I've separated out, so it's cut out all those pieces. And then I've got the inner detail, which I've cut out from 0.3mm, so each of those is a separate piece, but I've done this 6 times for each of the windows. And then there's an even smaller detail that I've cut from card. So that's my basis. Let me see if I can just, before I shove this back off screen, I'll show you the reference picture. Oops, that's coming too big, isn't it? It's actually spun. So there, that's the hidden behind trees. I do have a clearer picture somewhere else, but this is the front window area that I'm working on right now. So there's a window hidden behind this bit. No, there isn't. I'm talking rubbish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the doorway 6. Oh, there's a clearer picture there, look. So that's the frontage, and then that bit there is this here, which backs onto the street. So we've got this turret here, a double gable, and then it goes all the way back. And that's the other side of it. So there's quite a lot to it. I've already built a corrugated card mock-up, which I might show you next time. So it takes up most of the table. So like with the farmhouse, it's when I get properly on with it, it's going to take up a lot of room indeed. I think I might have to what do I might have to do? I might have to cut some of these pieces again, because they've just sort of shattered off. One thing I'll have to be careful of is not overpainting some of this detail. It is actually quite fun building up the separate pieces, so I might just keep going, you know, instead of. So my original thought was to perhaps I don't know what I was going to say then. My original thought was to perhaps create one and then make a mould and cast the rest in plaster. But I might just make each one up, and it's going to be a lot of work. But it's kind of very therapeutic. It's like building up a model kit, and I'm very sorry. You should have shouted at me and told me I was not on screen, because I do forget. Hey Pip, how's Pip? It's a shame that you can't have like a little buzzer saying, Lee, you're not on screen anymore, you've wandered off. So I get into what I'm doing and I don't pay attention to where my camera's pointing. Hello, little Miss Me. We had a good day. Welcome to the start of yet another building. We're on with the French chateau. And I'm starting with some really delicate ornate stone window frames, or window surrounds. It's an absolutely beautiful and perfect test of the laser cutter. I mean, I could do this by hand. Oof. Yes, not bad, thank you, not bad. It's been a nice, pleasant day. So I came home from work and we went to the pub, had a couple of drinks, and sat and chilled in the beer garden. playing a nice game now of trying to figure out how this kit went together. Maybe I should have written myself some instructions. That would have made life easier. Laser machine was very busy, yes. It's been put to the test. Laser machine was very busy, yes. It's been put to the test. This arrival has been very timely. I've had lots of use for it. I would probably have done these pieces on the Cricut otherwise with some plasticard. It would have done the job as well, just not quite as quick. Or maybe as accurate. Cat wants to come in. You'll have to... I'll just stick this on and then you'll have to excuse me while I go and let the cat in. It's a different one attacking the door tonight. This is Mary. It's usually Pippin asking at the door. No furniture in this one either. It would have been nice, but it's not requested. Okay, that's how we're building up. It's getting there. Right, I'm just going to go let the cat in. Cold tea. Love cold tea. No, I don't. I always forget my tea. It goes cold. Alright, where's the next bit coming from? Next bit, they've all fallen out. Let's see if I can find one in my debris field. I think it's one of those. Is it? Nope. You're going to have to excuse me. There's lots of talking to myself coming up. What are all these bits? These are the same. Those are the same. I'm looking for a slightly smaller one. Just to show you up there. That's my pile of stuff. They all fell through. Can you see all these little holes here? That's where it's cut through to too much, and pile of stuff. Here, that's where it's cut through to too much, and every single one of the next bit that I need has fallen out. I collected them off the bottom of the tray. Some have deteriorated altogether and some are fine, so I've left myself with a massive jigsaw puzzle to do. That's a small one, that's a small one. I want something slightly bigger. Is it that one? I think it's that one. I'll be able to tell if that one's slightly smaller when I put them together. I think it's the same one. No, it's the same one. The hunt continues. That'll be one of those. Can't believe every single one of these has cut straight through and fallen through the tray. I've had to collect these off the bottom and I've ended up with more of the pieces I don't want. It's called sarcasm. It's called sarcasm. You were teasing me, were you? Timmy! I can't find any of them. Every single one that I've picked up is the different size. I mean, it might be, they're supposed to be that size. Are you talking about? I'm lost, I'm not watching. Sorry. I'm not watching. Where does that go? And why can't I find that missing piece? It must be it. I think it is it. I think I'm just confusing myself here. We'll soon see with the next piece. Would have been easier had they all stayed on the sheet. That is definitely smaller. At least when I've done one, I know what the rest of them look like. Two, three, four. And that was the fifth one. Okay. I'm making an ornate window for an ornate house. And I'm just confusing myself over what bit goes where because they've all fallen apart out of the frame. That was that I've built. No, not that I've built, that I've cut everything out of. So I'm just a little bit lost. Once I've made one, I should be able to figure it out. If I built the kit a little bit better, it would have been easier. So this is some ornate stonework that I'm going to add to the front of the house. So like I say, it's made out of multiple layers. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's I had the laser set on slightly too powerful. Instead of holding them all in the frame as they cut, some of the smaller delicate pieces have just dropped straight through, which doesn't help me when I'm trying to figure out where everything goes. But I'll sort it out. We'll get there. Thank you for being interested though. Okay, we are slowly getting there. I think in retrospect, this is too delicate to cast. Some of the pieces are a bit too fine, so I shall persevere and make them all by hand, or at least assemble them by hand. It is, well, the actual building itself has a lot of missing detail. It's 400 years old. Some of the stonework's crumbled a little. I haven't actually discussed with the client yet whether he wants it to look exactly as it is, or a sort of more fixed, perfect version. Like I say, some of the little bits of ornate stonework have crumbled away, and I've had to do a bit of guesswork as what the real thing, or the original thing, would have looked like. So it's almost like, you know, doing a bit of preservation work, like on an old historical building, matching up the new bits of stonework to old, that kind of thing. This is the pains of trying to work out where the bits go aside. This is such a lot of fun. Love making things up in layers. 1/50th scale this. /50th scale. So it's going to be quite. It's going to be bigger than I normally work on, but it's still going to be quite tiny. Now then, this is a rather ambitious part. These bits are even smaller and fiddlier, but I set this to much lower power, so we should have a bit more success in taking the bits off, although the really small ones are really, really small. Now this is the piece that determines how insane detailing needs to go. this ornate window frame. Hello Chris, sorry I didn't say hello immediately, I was in the middle of crackling on, as I do. I just need to change my blade. Good evening Dave, how are you doing? Yeah, me too. I like the framework, even though it's going to be hidden. I suppose if with having left the doors open, at this scale, getting a camera down to a good viewing angle, you'll see all the. That's the one way around. All the internal intricacies. So this is cut out on craft card, so it's much thinner, but I set it to a lower power, so it hasn't lasered all the way through. This is for a slightly ambitious bit of detailing right at the bottom. I don't know if I'm going to need all the parts. I'll soon know if it comes out too thick. I think I need to ditch the first starter piece and just go straight onto the second layer. (1/75). I work in 1/76 usually. I don't know if you mean that one. 00 gauge model railway scale. That's the scale of the last build that I did. I don't know if you've seen that. It's the big farmhouse diorama I made. I think if I built that in 1/50th scale, I wouldn't have got it in the room. Well, I might have done, but I wouldn't have been able to sit down. See, look how small and fiddly that is. That's tiny. I've only got 6 of these to do. He says only. Which is why I was considering moulding them, but I'm thinking that some of these tiny little steps here are just not going to show up. This is the French chateau, Dave. Has that one actually cut out, or is it singed away? I think that one was too ambitious. Part of it's cut, part of it hasn't. So I might just take a little bit of compromise on that section and just use the small bit, the medium bit, should I say. Like so. Hello Michelle. Sorry, what am I building? I am building, at the moment, the facade of a French chateau model. And there are lots and lots of tiny pieces that I've cut out. Let me just undo that so I can show you a bit better. Don't want to lose that bit. So this is why I'm on portrait mode, because it's a bit bigger. So this is the front. I've cut out the shape with the window apertures, and then we've got some ornate stonework that goes around each of the window openings. This is a commission from my client. So I'm building a scale model of my client's. It's actually his friend's house. He's commissioned me to build a model of his friend's house. So yeah, that's what I do. I build small recreations of people's actual houses. So this is going to be probably one of the most ornate buildings I've made so far. Creak, creak. I'm sorry, the table keeps creaking. I can't remember what I was doing next. Yeah, so I've made up like a kit of parts out from the laser to build up the 3D mule would be fun, wouldn't it? But no, it's going to be the full thing, so it's quite a big footprint. This is a rough cardboard mock-up. This is a rough cardboard mock-up. The most recently completed project. Excuse the mess in the background. The most recently completed project. Excuse the mess in the background. But that's the thatched farmhouse model with trees. The thatched farmhouse model with trees. The thatched farmhouse model with trees. With trees. With trees. I'm back again. I'm going to come back this way for a little while. Is that better? Because I'm only working on the window frame bits at the moment, so you're not missing much by me being full screen. I may have to cut some of these bits again, purely because they just, some of them have disintegrated. What's going on here? Oh, I think I've made a cutting error. That's unlike me, isn't it? Right, so this is comprised of 3 pieces. I just needed to work out which bit was where, because I've actually copied and pasted it a little wrong, so I'll just have to laser some more fresh pieces tomorrow, but at least I know what I'm looking at now. Yes, I did. Well, all of a sudden, I think I must have been kicked off Wi-Fi. That's why it was lagging, because I was on 4G and it doesn't really like that. Yes, I did, Chris. This is 1/50th scale. I managed to convince my client that a slightly bigger scale would be more beneficial for something this detailed. And I think I'd have been going blind if it was 176 with this amount of ornate detail on it. I knew once I'd seen it that 176 scale wasn't going to cut the mustard, so to speak. Yes, this is the French house. I'm supposed to be working on the vicarage, but he was supposed to get me some pictures this weekend, and he hasn't yet. So I'm just working on this for the time being. If he does actually get pictures to me in the meantime, I'll swap over, or maybe try and do both at the same time. You know, maybe one week, one the next. We'll see how we go. But the laser's made this a slightly easier task. I've still got to do an awful lot of building work. I need to discuss with Dave about deliveries I'll have a chat tomorrow if that's all right. I've been having a chat with the missus about that, and I could potentially do a trip in at half term in 2 weeks' time. I'll take a couple of days off work, bring the lad down to Devon. You want a French chateau? Build me like one of your French chateaus. I did actually put a little bit of a extra detail in the edge of this, but it's far too small to show up, so it's just more square. Just trying to tease out some of the glue that's squeezed out of the edges. Chat tomorrow. Sorry, the parrot typed. Parrot typing. We all have those issues. No, we don't have those issues. I'm just trying to tease that so it's flat. There you go. That's one ornate window surround. I rather like that. Only another 6 to go. What I need to do, like I do with the Foamex drawings, is just cut that mortar bit in. Right, I'm just going to come off because I want to take a photograph of that before I actually stick it down. So just give me a minute, I will be back. It might just go a bit blank. Right, I'm just going to come off because I want to take a photograph of that before I actually stick it down. So just give me a minute, I will be back. It might just go a bit blank. Sorry guys. That's what happens when you try and go off to take a photograph. I should have taken a photograph with a camera, shouldn't I? So let's have a go at building another one. No, that's the doorway. Forget that one. I'll do the upstairs ones first, which is these ones with these little feet on them. I don't have enough pieces, I don't think, to do the whole lot, because like I say, some of them have unfortunately sliced right through. I don't have the feet for those. I do, however, have some of the tops. I think the worst thing is when you've carefully crafted a post on social media and then merrily send it on its way, and then when you look back at it you realise there's a massive typo. Or is that just me? Have a good day at work, Pip, if you've not already gone. Or if you've gone, well, it's too late. That was a classic Chris-ism. This is the part where I'm not sure if that's the next bit or not. It looks a bit bigger. There is, I think there is going to be a bit of internal bracing, but I'm using 2mm MDF for the outer structure, so it's going to be quite strong. It's going to be quite strong anyway. But I'll need to put some internal bracing in. I just decided to use MDF for this one because it's a lot more sturdy than Foamex. So that's it's just a completely different build in terms of both materials and technique, this one. Hadn't always planned to be before I got the laser. It was going to be a nice Foamex carving job. I do have some stonework to carve, and some of it I'm going to try and laser etch, and some of it's going to be hand carved as normal. You've been ill, Chris. I'm sorry to hear that. I thought you'd been a bit quiet. I've not been live streaming for 2 days, so you've not missed much, but it's kind of a little bit lost after I finished the farmhouse. I managed to cut our lawn on Sunday. Didn't really want to do it, but I thought I'd better do it before it rains. So I cut the grass and then we went to the pub. So we've done a bit of pub. Quite a bit of pub. Oh, I'm sorry, mate. What brought that on? Is it just a bug or? Yes, I would be as well. It's understandable. Which way around is this? There is a way. One side is brighter than the other. Oh. That's not from there. It doesn't fit. What's gone on there then? That one looks like it does. I don't know why that one's a different size. Unless I've picked it up as a bit of debris as opposed to the actual piece. Right, just get some glue on that. It's very intricate. I'm enjoying this. It's going to be a slow process, but there's never a rush with this, and it's not a race. My glue feels like it's getting a bit claggy though. I just stuck it down there to get rid of some of the surplus. I haven't properly eaten tonight and I'm absolutely starving. I think it might be toast before bed. Not the best time to eat, but I'm ravenous and I can't go to bed on an empty stomach. Oops. I'm loving it, indeed. It's doing exactly what I wanted it to do, straight from the go. I haven't had to faff too much. The only issues I have is that I can't get it to save the materials library. It's supposed to be a setting that you can save your materials into so that you don't have to keep changing all your input settings every time you use that particular material. And it doesn't seem to be storing them. I'm just doing something wrong. But for the 0.3mm laser board that I've just cut the these bits that I'm working on now. I've got the power settings too high, so it's obliterated some of the bits. How can you make a wishing well for your cottage? Various ways. What type of wishing well do you want? Do you want a stone, you know, a proper well with a rope and bucket in it? Or does it just want to be a pretend one? It's 1/50th scale, isn't it? Tell you what you need is something. You need something a bit like this. Get a nice little paint tube tin, like this. Slice the point bit off. Obviously, you don't want a brand new one, but if you have a used one, something like a cap similar to this. Slice the top off so it's just the circle bit. Then cover that with air drying clay. Then you can use some little bits of balsa to create some wooden frames, and use card for shingles for the roof. If I had more time, I'd build one. Tile the roof, yeah, definitely. Little paper tiles. Or you could thatch the roof. You could have a nice thatched roof on it. You know, keeping up with the theme. Yeah, some wells don't even have roofs, do they? It's just a little stone thing with a winching mechanism for the bucket above it. But you know, if you're going for a little sort of twee, spooky witch's cottage, then it might need a roof. Does anybody else ever do that? You know, they go to reach something and it's not where it was, and then the hand just dithers all over the place until they can find it. Or is that just me? It's like when I open a cupboard door and the thing that I was reaching for is not there. My hand sort of flaps around blankly going, where is it? The other thing you get with laser cutters, or the thing that you don't get with laser cutters, is a raised burr. I don't know if cricket users. If you're cutting something like plastic on a cricket, you get like a raised line where the knife has dragged through it. But you don't get that with this. It's a nice clean, sharp edge all the way through. Hello Greenie, how are you doing fella? What do you think of today's season ticket news? I'm very relieved. I still can't afford it, but I'm very relieved. I'll have to find a way to find the money. But yeah, thankfully it's not Leeds prices. What are you going to do with yourself on a Saturday now? Whole 2 months of no away trips, no home matches. Yeah, I was expecting at least a 50 quid increase. You know, we could have forgiven him that, couldn't we? But I think he's kind of read the room, as it were, and realised that with relegation, it's not going to be an easy task upping the prices. Yeah, I suppose your pocket will love that as well, won't it? Right, I can't do the bottoms for these, not all of them anyway, because I've messed up on cutting. I think I've sliced through. I've accidentally overlaid the pieces, so it's cut through twice and obliterated it. I've only got a few bits left, so I'll stick this one on, but I'll need to recreate the. Not recreate. I will need to recut the window ledge bits. Some people are mean, aren't they? Yes. You do. You do find though that some people, not a lot, but some people are quite reasonable about their very quiet. I tend to say that a lot, and it doesn't make sense. You know, they realise that it's only a game, and you can have some really good conversations with fans of, you know, rival football teams. I used to work with a Leeds United fan, and he was a really nice. We used to have, I'm not singling Leeds United out specifically. I just happened to mention it. But we used to have some really good conversations about, you know, how it was going, and even if we'd just played each other, you know, there was none of this nasty banter that you can get. Really reasonable chat, but yeah, some people do take it too far, too seriously, too far. And that's not what you want, is it? After all, it's just a game. There's no sort of environment where you'd have sort of similar upsets, is there? Right, I can't do the remaining windowsill for that, like I said, because I've inadvertently sliced it to pieces. Have I done? Yes, I've done. So I've got the rest of that windowsill to build up. Oh, I've missed a bit. Nobody told me I missed a bit. I've got this little tiny insert to put on. You're probably not even going to notice it, but I'm doing it anyway. Yeah, I can understand that. I was aware, Chris. It's some people just don't understand, and I know you can get a little bit sort of fixated is probably the wrong word, but you concentrate on certain aspects of things that are said, and yeah, people are not quick to realise or understand. Well, yeah, religion's the same, isn't it? Oh yes, I just wanted to insert that little bit right here. And I have got a little bit of glue spillage going on. I'll just use the tip of my scalpel to scrape that back off. They do. You are quite, I can't think of the word. No, I can't think of the word, so we'll forget what I'm going to say. You come across really well when you're talking about your subject, Chris. That's what I'm trying to say. Articulate. That's the word I was looking for. You are quite articulate and knowledgeable about your subject. It'll be a new experience. I don't go to away games. I just can't. I can't either afford the expense or the time. It's quite nice having an away week and not going to the football. But yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I think it's going to do us in the long term. It might be a bad thing, or people might see it as a bad thing. I've missed a bit off. But I think it's probably going to be a good thing because we've been flirting with relegation for the last goodness knows how many years, and it's just no fun fighting it off every season. I mean, it makes it exciting. Could be boring like a mid-table finish every year with nothing really to be bothered about, but flirting with relegation every year is no fun really, is it? So it's happened, we're down, and let's see what League One brings. Although one of my very good friends is a Stevenage United fan. Stevenage, is it Stevenage United? Stevenage anyway. Is it Stevenage Borough? I don't know. Anyway, it's the first time our teams have ever met in the same division. So that might be an away game to go to, or he might come to us. I will mention it tomorrow, Chris. I'm on Twitter every day. I've got loads of photographs to share. It's nice of you to drop by. It's nice to see people from different social medias. MDF or cardboard? It's a mix. I'm not actually using MDF at the moment. The MDF is the main structure. This is actually a mix of grey board, which is the grey board, and laser board, which is it's kind of laminated card. But the main building is going to be 2mm MDF. This is a mixture of 1mm grey board and 0.3mm laser board, which I'm using to build up the stone detail. Bear after dark. No worries, Chris, Mr. Green. No worries. It's nice, like I say, it's nice to have somebody from a different area meeting in. I know we've never really discussed a sort of we've never really sort of conversed in the other arenas, but it's nice to see you. What's been going off, Bear? You get beyond unhinged. Nice to see you, Georgia. I hope you've enjoyed this little bit of really, really intricate and fiddly stonework that I've been working on tonight. That's 2 out of 6 frames done. Like I say, my original thought was I was probably going to do one and then try and cast it, but like I say, I don't think I'm going to get as fine a detail as I'd like, so I'm going to hand make them all. They probably are, but I've never been in. And I don't know anybody who's. I don't know anybody who's I can't think of a word, who actually stands in there apart from you. But they're like any kind of football fan who really, really takes it seriously. They just go a bit overboard. There's a lot of young lads in there as well, isn't there? So it's kind of a football lads environment as well, I suppose. Did Crewe lose the first round? They were playing Doncaster, weren't they? I think they lost 2-0, if I remember rightly. Yeah. That's a tough one. As a neutral, I'm not really sure. I mean, I like the Crewe aspect because it's because of you, and I kind of like the idea of Doncaster going up because they've had a really amazing season since the new guy took over, and they've just sort of like gone on a massive winning streak. But yeah, I don't know. I know what you mean, Greenie. Yes, it's kind of that mentality of thinking you're hardcore. And if there's any Cowshed people in here, I know not everybody's like that. Cowshed, by the way, for non-town fans, is like the sort of ultras singing atmosphere stand for Huddersfield Town. So named after the original stand in the old Leeds Road ground, which looked like a cowshed. I just have enough bits to do that. In fact, I only needed 3. I don't know why I got confused. I only needed 3 because the downstairs ones have different types. So I do have enough for that, but the rest of them seems to have broken. That's a good word, isn't it? It's Frisian. I don't doubt it. It doesn't have an upper tier, but it does have a roof though. Yeah, the old Leeds Road ground that we used to have. Am I going to get away with that? Yes, I am. It had a big open stand at one end. When I say big open, it was just a terrace, but it was a covered terrace. But the roof was corrugated iron in a sort of an arched shape, a little bit like a massive Nissan hut. Carrying on the modelling theme, but yeah, it was called. I had many tears. It was called the Cowshed. Wasn't even a nickname. It was actually designated the Cowshed. There was a big sign outside saying the Cowshed. But that's what that name was carried over to the new stadium. So the south stand, where the Loud fans stand. It isn't actually officially designated the Cowshed, but that's what they all call it. Some of my son's friends go and sit in there. And they said, stand, you're supposed to sit. I think many people do just stand up. I think that annoys some of the people further back that aren't really in there for the sort of bouncing around aspect. But yeah, some of my son's mates are in there, but he's perfectly happy to sit in the family stand with me, which is good. I don't want him getting into that culture. That's a top piece. I was just thinking I might be able to get away with this. I might have enough bits. But then again, I might not. Is that one of those? I think it is, you know. Who would you have gone to go see then, Dave? Who's your local team? Exeter City. You framed that response very nicely. Oh, I think I heard after we drew against Birmingham, and it was pretty much certain we were going to go down. I was walking up Kilner Bank on the way back to the car, and there was two blokes in front discussing geography. It's like saying, "Where's Exeter?" Like, it's down south, mate. I thought it was. It's yet another one. So most of the teams in that division are down south. That's going to be some long trips. But I think there's a mix. I haven't really looked. We've still got 3 to decide who's... no, not 3 to decide, I'm talking rubbish. We've still got 1 more to decide who's coming up, don't we? So strange. I'm sorry tonight, everybody, if you're not football fans. Sometimes it turns into a football... it sometimes turns into football chat. I'm very much a football fan. I do like football. I do like following my local team. You see, I can't really get on with watching rugby. I find it a bit boring. I suppose everybody's the same, you know. Like, you know, rugby fans don't tend to naturally like football much, and other way around as well. I just find it boring, which is bizarre, really, because it's not a boring sport. I didn't used to mind playing it when I was younger, but I only got into it kind of towards the end of my school career, when I got properly into sports. The school I went to was a rugby school. Rugby and cricket. I've always kind of liked cricket, but cricket's another one that it's more fun playing it than watching it. I once got some free tickets to go and watch a Yorkshire game at Headingley, and it was a 1-day match, and it was the longest day. Oh, it was so long. Kids were bored stupid. I was bored stupid. Yeah, they're just rattling around, aren't they? But where else would they go? See, when I started school, high school, I went to a boys' grammar school, and it was my first experience of that sort of thing, because we used to have just like a when I was doing sports at my previous school, we just used to have a kick about playing football. In the school grounds, we didn't really have a games lesson as such. So my first real experience of rugby was a cold, wet, muddy field, and they tried me out in all sorts of positions. I was like in second row in the ruck, because it was rugby union, not rugby league. So we used to scrum. Do you scrum in rugby league? I don't know, but I didn't like that. And then he tried me at fullback, and I remember my one remaining memory of playing at fullback was that was the sort of last line of defence. And I can remember the opposition come tearing towards me with the ball, and I just stepped aside and let them go past. Because there's no way I am diving on that cold, muddy field and getting muddy and injured. So, yeah, don't like rugby. Didn't like rugby. Until I got a little bit older and faster, and sort of, I think it was the kind of fascination I had with American football. So I thought that's the closest I can get to it. I'll have a go at rugby. And I was quite fast. But yes, 11-year-old me wasn't very impressed with rugby. I think had we been a football playing school, I could have got a fair distance with goalkeeping, because I've always enjoyed being goalkeeper. But wasn't to be. But I do get to play on a Monday night now with my lad, which is good fun. I've put too much glue on this. I've got a bit overconfident. I've gone a bit gluey. On the plus side, it's because it's a laser board, it does tend to absorb the glue a bit better. Really? See, we weren't banned as such from playing football, but it was kind of frowned upon. But everybody played football everybody played football in the playground at lunchtime, and if we did cross country as a games option, because that was usually over way before the end of the games session, so it was basically a cross country run followed by a game of football. So all the football fans signed up to cross country. So you used to walk the cross country course, and then you come back and have a game of football. Basically, it was a football option. Oh, is anybody old enough to remember British Bulldog? Did you used to experience that at school? And many a ripped hood, scuffed knees. British Bulldog Charge, that was fun. Schools tended to outlaw that though. I'm going to finish this last ornate top window off and then call it a night, I think. No, everything's gone soft, hasn't it? I'm just putting that there to check it's lined up, and it has. That's always good to know. Have I got a big, thick, ornate piece to use that hasn't? See, this is one that's fallen down into the tray and subsequently has had a piece sliced off it, so that's unusable. There's nothing on that one. I think I've run out of pieces for that. I'm going to have to line myself up with a new one. Aha, we found one. So I might just have enough to do the top row. And I don't know why I picked that up with the scalpel then, because that's not going to hold, is it? There's too much glue on there. Let's try and scrape some excess off. Oh, I did have one. What am I thinking? No idea. I do know I'm going to have to laser a few more details. I wouldn't be able to get this manoeuvrability with super glue, so it's been a very good medium to use. This one's a double layer of the same thickness. I was going to cut this out of 0.6 not MDF laser board, but I just needed so little of it that I thought I might as well just double up on the layers, make it a double thickness, and I can cut it out of the same board, so I don't end up wasting. a sheet of 0.6. Well, it wouldn't be a waste. I'd find some way of using the rest of it, but I didn't have to get it open. I was worried about there being visible seams with all the layers here, but they're gluing together really nice and tight. You can hardly tell. Bad light, but you can hardly tell it's made up of lots of thicknesses. Hey, Rabia, sorry. Sometimes I sound things out phonetically. How's you? I'm making some ornate window surrounds to go on my latest project. So this is the house frontage. So these have some really ornate surrounds in the stonework. So I've got 5 of those to make and a doorway. And I'm making them all individually. I've just finished an absolutely massive diorama project. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos that I've posted just recently. They haven't really been videos, they've more been photographs, because I am actually rubbish at making videos. But I've posted the progress on the end result in terms of pictures. I'm actually much better on the static social medias like Twitter and Instagram. They're changing the 20 thing though, aren't they? Changing it back again. Right, that's the top done. I think I'm going to glue these on before I go. Do you know, we get some nice little shapes resulting of laser cutting. Absolutely no idea what to do with them. But I'm building up a collection of cut out MDF pieces. So what I'm going to do now, just before I go tonight, is I'm going to stick these 3 top windows in place, because then it looks like I've actually made some progress. And I can use the PVA type of glue to do that, because I'm bonding it to MDF, and I get a little bit of repositional time. Oh, bet your heart was in your mouth there then, wasn't it? I've had that before. It's like, oh, what have I done? Okay, now I need to align this absolutely spot on, and if I was using super glue and got it wrong, I'd be stuck. So that's what I can use that for, as a little aligning template. Just squeeze it up the inside and just make sure it's sticking in the right place. There we go, that's one. I got caught in Bradford going down a bus lane. I didn't get pulled over by the police, but I got sent a charge fine through the post from the council. I didn't actually know. It was in the dark and I was unaware of where I was. I don't usually drive through Bradford. And yes, I got because I wasn't used to it being a bus lane. But I got twice. They got me going in and coming out. So I got 2 tickets. I managed to argue one of them down. I said, look, I've paid the fine. I accept that I was... whoops, that's me standing on my charger cable. I'm going to have to go soon. I just want to get this glued down. I accept I was caught going in the bus lane. I didn't know where I was. I was trying to get to a certain part of town. Following the sat-nav, it didn't tell me it was a bus lane, but okay. And then, but you can't get me twice. But they did let me off the other one. They said it's just because they've got an in and out camera, because people tend to use it as a cut through. But it's unfair being charged twice for the same misdemeanour. It is, isn't it? It doesn't make anything any safer, it's just making money from forgetful motorists. Hello, Linda. Have you been here a while? On and off all night. Well, I'm sorry if I've not noticed you. I hope you're having a pleasant Monday evening. No, it's not Monday, is it? Why did I think it was Monday? Wednesday evening. I hope you're having a pleasant Wednesday evening. There goes my scalpel. There's two. Creak, creak, creak. That's my chair key creaking all the time. Oh, it might be my old bones. So I need to go and let the dog out. I need to get myself something to eat quickly before bed because I'm starving. It's a bit late, but I'm hungry. I wouldn't fancy driving to London, driving in London. All the congestion charges and cameras. Oops, I've knocked it off. You see a missing piece? I've missed a bit off there, haven't I? First window in the middle. Oh, that bit. Yes, well done. Well spotted, Leanne. Well, I can't finish without doing that, can I? For completeness. Eagle-eyed Leanne, well done indeed. I might not have spotted that until it came time to paint it. Some of that excess glue I'll just wait until it dries and just shave it off a little bit. Okie dokie, right, I've had enough for tonight. I could probably carry on, to be honest. I'm really into this, but I need to get some sleep and some food. But I'm quite happy at how that's coming together. Thank you very much. It's going to be a great model as this one. Right, I'm going to go. I need to get some sleep and food and stuff, and we'll see you all again tomorrow, hopefully. Thank you very much for coming and watching.